delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the happy hour here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is I, Rico, joining you once again joined by, once again, my good friend and former co-host,
R.I.P.
Jake Bachman.
Yeah, great to be here again. Unfortunately, not great that Nick's not doing well, but other than that, doing good, and hopefully he's feeling better and helping out at home. So I appreciate Nick for doing that. But glad to be with you here on the happy hour again.
It's fantastic. I missed you so much.
That's right. I feel like we do a pretty good show. Maybe we got a future in this or something. We'll see. Nah, probably not.
Sorry, I'm just trying to fix this camera so that we can actually look good when we're talking to people.
Yeah,
I know it's kind of hard for us to look bad, but just trying to make us look better.
Well, you've got movement issues today.
Yes, my neck is killing me.
Yes,
and every time I'm like, if I move quickly and just like ignore it, like it still hurts, but I'm just like, don't pay attention to it. But like after I sit still for a while and go to move, I feel like I'm gonna die.
And this is from this morning, sleeping on it wrong?
I really think I just slept on it wrong.
Yeah.
And it is destroying me right now.
It's funny to watch you move. You remind me of like Batman when he couldn't turn his neck.
I have to like turn my whole body just to do anything. Like Terrell was making fun of me earlier because he was like, when you talk to me, you look at me. And I was like, I can't. You're standing up. I'm sitting down. I can't move my head. I like tried the good thing. The chair had wheels and I like turned towards him and I was like, you get down on my level.
Well, it's funny. He was knocking on the door to try to get you to turn your head on accident. And you just like, did like the Zoolander complete turnaround spin.
Yep.
You're like, I can only turn one way.
I was like, hello, how are you?
I was like, oh, all right.
Speaking of people who can only do one thing, Nebraska's offense.
There you
go. Struggling passing the ball. Let's talk about, they're running the ball, but in running the ball, they have dealt with some issues holding on to the ball. And by holding on to the ball, I mean Anthony Grant has fumble issues. We know this. We've talked about this extensively. Matt Rule hit on it yesterday. Here's what Matt Rule had to say about Anthony Grant and his fumble issues.
Well, he's not okay with me because he keeps fumbling the ball. I love Anthony, but you can't play for us if you can't control the ball. So Anthony,
that's just a great way to start a question. Hey, he's not okay with me because he can't hold on to the ball. Like, oh my goodness. But okay, here's the rest of it.
Anthony, he's got to improve that. Not in the doghouse. Like people take things the wrong way. He's got a skill that is not showing up. It's very simple. To me, it's all technical. Football's never emotional for me. It's just technical. So I have to get that fixed for Anthony. And Anthony has to get that fixed for Anthony or he can't play because we can't, you can't fumble the ball in practice on Tuesday, then fumble it again in practice on Wednesday, then fumble it in 4 minutes on Saturday and think you're going to play the next week. So I think the bye week comes at a great time because Anthony can really work on that this week. He's got such great vision. He has all these things, but he has one skill that's preventing him from playing at the level I think he could play at. So, he's healthy, all those things, but I'm counting on Anthony and I need him and we need him to step up and we need him to very simply cover the top of the ball and not run with the ball like this. And so I don't know what else to do other than to say what I just said. I said it to him, obviously, but say what I just said. So he hears it because he's a really good player that could probably play for many years after this. but you're not playing for Bill Belichick if you fumble the ball. You're not playing for Mike Tomlin if you fumble the ball. So we need him this week to really make a step.
And I know we talked about this yesterday. I just wanted to hit on it one more time. In Nebraska's offense needing to take a step forward, that is going to be issue number one that needs to be addressed, is just holding onto the ball from your starting running back. I understand that passing the ball has been a struggle, and you're going to need your quarterbacks to complete more passes and not throw interceptions. But if you want to be this ground and pound Big Ten West team that they're at least trying to be in this season, your starting running back needs to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there is kind of an opening to be among the best of that group, which is just kind of ugly football, right? Because Illinois is down, Minnesota's down. You lost to Minnesota, so you can't get that back. But, Nebraska, Iowa stats are just ridiculous. The Iowa-Wisconsin over-under I saw was at 34 today, and there's been
my goodness.
There's been Ben Stevens had the tweet. I think I took a screenshot of it. I thought it was kind of funny. There's been 4 games since, let's see what it was. 4 games in the past decade of the over-under of 34 points. Iowa has been in 3 of those games. So let you know, guys, kind of what we're talking about. The ugly, rugged Big Ten West. Iowa has that down to a T, although I'm sure they would like to get better and be better at running the ball, as it used to be. You remember Iowa used to have,
don't be ugly.
Iowa used to have a semblance of an offense. But it is interesting. I don't know, because it's hard for me to decipher. I mean, Nebraska this past game did give Anthony Grant the ball 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
And, modest return, 60 yards, 58 yards, whatever it was. You could make an argument that if Heinrich Haarberg would have pitched the ball a few times, that number would have gone significantly up. And really, in an offense like this, you're going to have games like that where you just don't break out. But it usually, the idea is your average goes up significantly. You bust one big late in the third or fourth quarter, or whatever the case may be, when the defense is kind of worn out, and then that average shoots up. Either way, I guess I was just kind of brainstorming, thinking to myself, I know he's got a fumbling problem, but they're so limited with who's going to get touches now, that if you're Nebraska, because you hear he can't play for me if he fumbles. Well, he's fumbled, yes, but he isn't. It's not like he's fumbling multiple times a game.
Yeah. Just in
would
key
you
moments.
be just asking a Husker fan, would you be okay? We're going to give Anthony Grant the ball 20 times if he fumbles once. Is that a fair trade? Would that be something? Obviously, they want to work on it, but even me hearing that, it's you probably still would have to do it.
He fumbled only 4 times last season.
Yeah, he wasn't much of a fumbler before this year. Coach Rule was saying there is something about how he carries the ball. Maybe is not ideal, and that might be hard to break at this point in his career. Remember, he's kind of one of the older players in college football. I think he's 23, 24 years old. So I don't know if that's just something you kind of learn on the fly at this point in your career. It might be kind of difficult. I don't know. I mean, is it that's kind of where you kind of think of the question, is his talent so much higher or at a level higher than their other running backs or their other playmakers that you're able to overlook it and still get him the ball? Because when he says he's not going to play, it's well, then what are you going to do? I mean, is Emmett Johnson, who also fumbled, going to get how much leeway is he going to get with his fumbles? Joshua Fleeks has that one big run. He's been playing hot potato on what position he's gonna play.
Yep.
You're even more limited at touches at wideout. I mean, they've been finding ways to get Billy Kemp the ball, but I have been accepting of this offense more so than others, I believe, as far as running the quarterback 20 times. Kind of what they have. They don't really have much else. They got big quarterbacks. The offense kind of works for it. I know modern day college football, you don't want that many hits on your quarterback. Option teams invited those hits, took big hits.
Yeah.
So if you've got that kind of attitude toward it, and I think they have that in the quarterback room, I'm fine with that. But there is a limit. You can't go 25. You can't go 30 carries a game. So it's just, to me, I don't know if that's he's trying to get Anthony Grant to hear it, not just in the locker room, but in the media, everywhere. I get that part of it, but I don't know if that's a false threat, because I just don't know what other option they have but to give Anthony Grant the ball.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Bench him?
Yeah.
Are you going to play Joshua Fleeks, who, again, like you just said, is playing hot potato? Are you going to play Quentin Ives, the true freshman? Are you going to play Emmett Johnson, the redshirt freshman? It's Anthony Grant right now is probably your best chance at winning. And if anybody says, is he really your best chance at winning if he fumbles the ball? Yes. He is probably still the best running back in that room. based off of experience, what we've seen. Granted, we haven't seen much from the other guys. They could give you something along those lines without fumbling the ball, but we haven't seen it. So for right now, it's Anthony Grant or bust.
Well, and I also wonder too, maybe Matt Rule, maybe it is because he sees the talent in Anthony Grant and the potential in him that he is specifically calling him out. It's just kind of a weird relationship because everybody's fumbling the ball on offense.
Yep.
And we just all pile on Anthony Grant for doing it when it's like it's a team problem. It's not just Grant. Now Grant has to accept that it's his problem too.
Mm-hmm.
But I just find this whole thing so strange because Grant was a guy that coming into this year, you were thinking, okay, if they could get him to how he looked in certain games last year. I mean, the whole thing's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Because last year he was hit or miss. And he was hit the first part of the season and missed the second part of the season. So that was already strange. Bringing a new coach, Grant's suspended for a few days, has to change his jersey number. I don't know if that like played into anything, but maybe
that's what it was.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'm not saying the fumble thing, but I'm saying like
maybe the number and the way he was carrying, the way that the football hit the number, he wasn't fumbling as much.
There's something there. But my point is, I mean, there's just so much change and ups and downs with that guy, and you wonder too. And like, I hear from people saying, "Well, he's got NFL potential." I mean, I think he's got a shot at the NFL, but he's an older running back that came into the year number 3 for Nebraska, a team that hasn't been to a bowl game in 6 years, 7 years.
It doesn't scream NFL potential.
It doesn't. I think I think he can get a look, and maybe he can make something out of it. But again, if he's got these fumbling issues, as Matt Rule's saying, you can kiss that goodbye, and it's very public. It's very out there.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless, I mean, if he can turn it around and hold on to the ball, obviously that's better for Nebraska in the short term. I just don't. It's a question to me about making it such a public battle.
Mm-hmm.
But it might feel like Matt Rule has done that with a lot of players on the team. But it does feel like kind of singling out Grant more than others.
Mm-hmm. He has said that he likes to send messages to his team through the media. So that's maybe something that he's doing. And I think really it's a lot of piling onto Grant just because at the beginning of the season, when we saw the depth chart and we saw it was Gabe Irvin, Ramir Johnson, Anthony Grant, we all questioned, why is the returning starter third on the depth chart? And Matt Rule told us, look, he would be higher up, but he can't hold on to the ball in practice. And that kind of started all of this, where we knew he was fumbling in practice. You put him in that first game, he fumbles in a crucial situation. You don't see him in really that much in the second or third game. And I think that just kind of started this conversation, and everybody's just piling on because of what we were told and what we know now is that he was dealing with this in practice. And for some reason or another, it hasn't been able to correct itself, or he hasn't been able to correct it. And now he's the starting running back, and he's the guy that you're going to have to trust the most, carrying the ball in terms of running back spots. So it sucks for him that he's getting the brunt of the words thrown at him through everybody for his fumble issues, when, as you said, a lot of people on the offense are having issues holding on to the ball or not turning the ball over. But I guess that just comes with it now, being the most experienced returning starter in the running back room, and now being the starting running back. But a guy that we can ask some more of these football questions to, and some questions about Anthony Grant, Steve Mark of Inside Nebraska. He'll be joining us in the next segment here on the Happy Hour. We're going to go to a break, a little short segment there, but it's all good. We'll go to a break. We'll come back with Steve Mark of Inside Nebraska up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorator's composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
October is full of sports, with football and volleyball reaching midseason and basketball and winter sports starting up. All the excitement of the games brings major stress, and stress causes tight muscles and pain. It's time to call the Body Shop, your place in Lincoln for all types of massages: deep tissue, hydrating, sports, Swedish, hot stone, aroma, and more. And don't forget about their couples massages. Eliminate the pain from sports watching stress today with a massage at the Body Shop at 48th and A and online at thebodyshoplincoln.com.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Happy Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. It is Bach and myself here on the Happy Hour. No Nick, as he is still out with the little sickies. He's just a little sick boy, so he is out. But we are still joined by Nick's good friend, Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rico. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, Steve. I'm glad that you could join us. So have you ever slept wrong and couldn't move your neck at all the next day?
Of course.
Because I am dealing with that currently right now, and it is the worst.
Yeah, I've had that happen multiple times because I'm getting older, like everybody else. But yeah, I mean that's never a great thing to wake up and you're all excited for your day, but you have to go through it with a pain in your neck or back or whatever. That generally sucks.
It snatched me back into bed this morning. I went to wake up and do my workout, and yeah, that didn't happen this morning. So I've been dealing with that all day, and it's fantastic. I just love it.
You'll be receiving my prayers, Rico.
Thank you so much. I need all of the prayers, thoughts and prayers, T's and P's, please and thank you, everybody. Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska joining us here on the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Steve, a bye week for Nebraska means no football, obviously, but we still had a Matt Rule press conference yesterday, and we talked. There were some questions about Anthony Grant and the fumble issues, and how Anthony Grant is not good with Matt Rule. I mean, what did you take away from him using kind of the tone of voice and just the wording that he chose when talking about Anthony Grant? What was your takeaway from that?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, and it's becoming more clear as we go on and kind of learn more about Matt Rule and how he handles things in the media. He absolutely sends a message through, and he uses the media to send that message to the locker room. So he's actually in the locker room himself and talking to the guys, but he also does it through the media as well. And I think it tells you how important of a aspect to the team that Anthony Grant is right now, and he can't be fumbling the ball as much as he has been. And because everybody knows the situation at running back with the season-ending injuries to Gabe Urban Jr. and Ramir Johnson, and then you look behind those guys, and Emmett Johnson is a second-year guy just trying to find his legs and trying to work through the first snaps of his career. Then you have Josh Fleeks, who didn't even come to the program as a running back, though he played a little bit of it at Baylor back in the day. So there's just not a lot of options. So you really, when you have the depth problems that Nebraska has in the running back room, you really need the one veteran, the one guy in there that can make things happen, which is Anthony Grant. You need him to hold on to the football and kind of carry it around and be mechanically sound a lot more than he has been, because Rule was pretty good up at the podium. He was showing us, with the 5 points of pressure, using just protecting the tip of the ball, snugging it against your chest, against your bicep, things like that. And Matt Rule said that just hasn't been happening as often or as cleanly enough as he would like. So, when Matt Rule was talking about the fumble issues, it made a lot of sense. But, at the end of the day, there's just not a ton of options. But if he keeps, coughing up the ball like he has in crucial moments, I mean, at Minnesota, it was that fourth quarter fumble that gave the ball back to the Gophers. They wind up tying it at 10-all, and then Huskers lose the game. And then in Illinois, I know they got out of there with the win, but can't be coughing up the ball inside the red zone and having another empty trip in there without points. So I think Matt Rule, there's not a lot of options there, I guess, at running back. So I don't know if you can't play Anthony Grant because he's still really talented. You might just have to live with some of those mistakes that he unfortunately has a trend of making.
And Steve, you talk about the depth issues at running back after the 2 injuries, and then just the youth following Anthony Grant and Joshua Fleeks not coming here as a running back, but as a wide receiver. Well, going to that wide receiver room, I mean, you lose Xavier Betts a couple weeks before the season starts. You lose Isaiah Garcia Castaneda the first first week of the season, the first game of the season. You lose Marcus Washington, now we know, to a torn ACL for the rest of the year. I mean, that wide receiver room, the offense just in general has just been decimated by injuries. Is this something that you've ever seen before happening to an offense, or is this and what do you think the offense does going forward?
I mean, yeah, this is such a difficult situation when you're looking at the roster and all the key pieces, especially on offense, that have either gotten hurt or just left the team or have legal troubles like Eric Gilbert has. And Rule himself actually said that he's never encountered this many season-ending injuries and defections from the team. So that was kind of saying something, because Rule's been around a long time and coached a lot of football. But, you know, what it tells me, they just need to continue to lean into the run game, lean on the offensive line, even though it's been inconsistent, I would say, at best, in run blocking and pass protecting. But I think Nebraska, especially with Heinrich Harburg and what he brings as a skill set and what his deficiencies are as a quarterback, I think you continue to lean into the run game, incorporate some quarterback run with this offense, you know, do a lot more read runs using the quarterback, maybe even find a role for Jeff Sims if he is fully healthy and ready to go. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's a terrible idea to maybe give him a run package here and there, maybe to give Heinrich a few plays off, let him catch his breath, because it's been a couple of times now that Rule and Marcus Satterfield have commented on Heinrich's, I guess, conditioning, if you want to call it like that, where he's just absolutely winded, but at the same time, he's also, you know, running for 75-yard touchdowns and long gains where he's had to come back and operate the offense. So after all these things, I think it's just, you know, continue to rely on your defense. It's been stopping the run at a high rate outside of Michigan this season, and continue when you have the ball to run it and lean on the offensive line, which has stayed healthy to this point, even though Ethan Piper's been kind of battling out there with his right hand in a cast. But I think after everything and the questions you have at the receiver with all these freshmen, I guess, that are going to be stepping up, needing to step up after that awful injury to Marcus Washington, you know, which I think is going to hurt the offense. But with questions at receiver and behind Anthony Grant and running back, you just got to keep pounding the rock with the run game and hope that the defense just continues to be a really stout unit and shut things down for the opposing offenses.
Steve, I've seen a lot of excitement, and whenever Nebraska gets a victory, this one was a little bit diluted because, you know, people didn't like the way they saw that game finish, and fair enough, but people still kind of get excited. And I've seen a few comments out there about Nebraska having a path to win the Big Ten West. I personally don't necessarily buy too much into that. I understand the struggling division, but I think that's getting a little bit ahead of where Nebraska is as a program. What say you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Bach, that it's you know, it's very easy for fans around here to get ahead of themselves and look at the remaining schedule. And, you know, Northwestern, you know, they're Northwestern. They are dealing with what they are dealing with from the off season right before the season started. And then you got, you know, Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa. Look, these teams are not going to blow you away with excitement about like, oh man, they are really good. But like Matt Rule said, he said it best. He said there's not a team on the schedule that Nebraska can't beat, but all of them can absolutely beat Nebraska. So this is just going to be, it's shaping up to be one heck of a watch for a season. It's going to be exciting, in my opinion, even though it's a Big Ten West, and Big Ten West is not exactly the sexiest division in college football. But, you know, when you're trying to look ahead and you're trying to project things, if you squint, you can see, you know, 6 wins in a bowl trip. But, you know, winning the Big Ten West, I mean, it's on the table, sure. I don't want to say that Nebraska can't do it because everybody's kind of alive over there, but I think that's a little bit too far ahead to maybe say for me. So I'll have to agree with you there. But you know, it's good that they got that win, that Big Ten West win on the road at Illinois. Now they have the bye week to try to get healthy. Maybe Luke Reimer comes back. Maybe Deshaun Singleton gets more healthy and we can see him later on in the year. But yeah, Big Ten West chance, that's a little too far too far for me, but it's not off the table. So I don't blame anybody for thinking that. But again, take it one game by game, and we'll see what goes from there.
We're speaking with Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. And look, it's a bye week, so not much going on the Nebraska side of things, but college football as a whole, obviously moving forward. This weekend slate of games, there's a lot of good ones out there. So I'm just going to throw two of them out here. I want to know, which one are you more interested in? Which one are you going to watch? Are you going to stay on the Big Ten side of things, specifically the Big Ten West with Iowa, Wisconsin, or are you going to go out to future Big Ten members, Washington, Oregon?
See, that's a really good one. So I'm a YouTube TV subscriber, so I'm going to be recording everything and watching everything. But if I had to give you an answer, I'm going to be going with the Big Ten West game, honestly, because for my job, it's good to keep an eye on these guys that we're going to be seeing later in the season. And I'm really interested in seeing, Wisconsin. They have and what it does against Iowa's defense and Cooper DeJean, who seems to be Iowa's best offense sometimes, and he's a corner on defense. So I think I will stick with Wisconsin and Iowa and see if that Badger run game up there that is leading the Big Ten in rushing yards per game and rushing yards per carry, see what it looks like against an always tough Hawkeye defense.
Now, Steve, this is the last one before we get you out of here. And like I said, it's a bye week, so we're not going too heavy on the Nebraska questions. So I know you're a baseball guy. Are you watching the playoffs?
So it's kind of tough for me to tune in if the Cubs aren't there, but I have been keeping tabs on it. But to be honest with you, whenever these Conference USA midweek games and Sun Belt midweek games are on commercial break, I'm absolutely watching the baseball games for sure. But the midweek football games have my full attention. I love them for some reason.
I was watching some Jacksonville State as well.
Yeah.
But really, my question is two-parter. First part, did you see that amazing ending in the Rangers? Well, no, not the Rangers. What game was it? It was the Phillies game. Who are they playing? The Braves. The Braves, Phillies. And then did you see that the Rangers swept the Orioles? I know we were trying to find a team to root for with both of our teams being out.
Yeah, let's go with the Rangers first. I'm glad the Rangers got that series win, and maybe they are my team going forward. But call me weird, but I don't know. I'm kind of digging what the Phillies are cooking up over there, and just the vibe of that whole series. I was really impressed with the Braves crowd and how kind of berserk everybody went. And with atmospheres like that, how can you not enjoy that as a sports fan? So maybe I'll be keeping my eye on since there's no Cubs action. Maybe I'll be keeping my eye on the Phillies and the Rangers. How about that?
That sounds fantastic. I'm really hoping that the Rangers can get it done. I don't know why, but I'm just pulling for the Rangers this
Well,
postseason.
I think it's because the Rangers have always been bad, right? I mean, recently they haven't been a good franchise at all, but now all of a sudden they're making noise in the playoffs. It's fun.
That might be it. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining us here on the Happy Hour. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your Wednesday and a fantastic bye week. Good sir.
What a heck of a send-off. Well, thank you so much, Rico and Bach. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
That is Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. There he goes. I mean, like I said, not much in the way of Nebraska questions because, again, it's a bye week and there isn't much going on.
Now we're just kind of twiddling our thumbs, waiting for Northwestern, if you can imagine.
I told you in the break, I wish Northwestern was playing, so then we could talk more Northwestern and who they were playing, and kind of look forward to watching that and kind of getting a feel on what they might have coming into Lincoln next week. But they also have a bye week.
Hey, I saw you get in the sneak over there at the Northwestern Howard replay on BTN earlier.
So I go into Mark's office. He's just got BTN on his TV, and it's always like every time I go in there, it's Northwestern Howard. I don't like every day so far.
Really?
It's been Northwestern Howard. Like they keep playing it. They're just like, here you go. This is a classic.
I watched one play because I was in Mark's office just for a second too. And Northwestern was at like the 45-yard line punting, and they punted it down to like the 22-yard line. I said, I think I got the gist of this game. That's pretty much what's going on.
Howard stood firm against Northwestern. Yeah. So if that kind of, I don't think that helps at all in going into this Northwestern Nebraska game, but that is a thing that happened.
Well, we talk about it. I mean, I'm so glad Nebraska beat Illinois because there is this like newfound hope. And even though the game was ugly, there seems to be this, going into the bye week, at least hope and optimism. If Nebraska would have lost that game, man, we'd be in the dumps right now. Then this
would have been a bad week to do sports radio.
Yes. The flip side of that is if Nebraska loses to Northwestern, I think you're right back there, because Northwestern is going to be battling Illinois and hopefully not Nebraska for worse in the Big Ten West this year.
I hope that is the case. I really do. But that's going to do it here. We're going to bring in Strick for the Chris crossover up next on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
What is Kasasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union? It's more. More earning, more freedom, more rewards. With Kasasa Cash, you earn up to 5.5% APY, and your rewards begin instantly from a penny up to $40,000, all without monthly service fees. Plus, Kasasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union gives you more ATMs nationwide. When you want more, you want Kasasa Cash. Visit libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Account qualifications apply.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line. 1-800-QUIT-NOW. 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Nutrition Authority presents Activator. University studies have shown that Activator helps with building muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Activator is for male and females of all ages who want to look, feel, and perform their best. Activator can only be found in Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Even before you start. That was a preemptive shh.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I already had someone created in my image. He's evil, he wants to take over the world, and he fits easily into most overhead storage bins.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I told Strick that it was time for the crossover, and he just walks out, goes and sits down. Bach's like, what is he doing? I was like, you want to cross over? He's coming back. It's all right, everybody. Strick will be back. I know that's what you tuned into the crossover for is for Eric Strickland. Oh, hey, guy. How are you?
I didn't even realize it was crossover. I thought we were still.
Well, you were like walk out. You're like going to walk out. I go, come on in for the crossover. You just kept going, and I was like, all right, cool.
My bad. Please forgive me.
How you doing, Strick?
Man, it's wonderful. Yeah. What is today? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday. Today was Waffle Wednesday.
The bye week goes by so quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, shout out to Bob Haney and his wonderful wife. Heavenly Waffles is always a phenomenal treat. You guys should look them up. They're great. I mean, they're continuously enhancing their product and making it even better. So shout out to them. He came in, talked to me a little bit. So that was cool. But what's going on with you guys, man? How is everything going?
It's the bye week, so we're just talking about
it's a lot.
Nothing.
A lot of nothing. Well,
it's hard, man. It's not hard. We have stuff to talk about, but it's Nebraska's not playing, so we talked about the presser yesterday. We interviewed Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. It was fantastic. Asked him a couple questions on the football side of things, with the injuries that Nebraska's offense is dealing with. Didn't even ask him about the defensive injuries that they've been dealing with. Just in total, this team has been ravaged by injuries. And for a team that's just struggling to keep their head above water offensively, it was not great. It's not great.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have Evan Bland join us. We'll probably talk a little bit about that. We'll have some, obviously, spring games have started. The scrimmages, the red and white scrimmages have happened. Stump's still going on. It's supposed to be one today. I don't know, but it's raining outside. So,
I know they moved it because it was supposed to be today, so they moved it to yesterday. So I don't know if they're going to play another one today. I know that the softball has their fall schedule out. I don't know when their games are, but they have like 4 games coming up here shortly. So
yeah.
All the
we'll definitely get into that. Obviously, we're going to talk some NFL stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The good, the bad, the ugly. Justin Jefferson goes down for in a tough way, hamstring, IR. Probably missed 4 games and trade deadline stuff. We'll get into a little bit. Who needs to sell?
Are the Vikings going to be sellers?
That's what we're gonna look into it and see what's out there.
You're going to do your trade deadline buyers and sellers?
In a way.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do some of that.
Well, tease.
Then we'll I think we'll talk a little bit too, because I think we'll get into, is what's going on with the Broncos Russell Wilson's fault? Is it have a lot to do with him? Because I think I have a different take on it. I have a different perspective on it. I don't know if it's fully him, and no, we're not going to talk about it right now. But I'm just
I know. I'm just saying, the resident Broncos fan, Chris Raff. We kind of talked about, but we kind of mentioned it earlier on the drive, and he said statistically,
that's what we're going to talk about. That contrast,
some things.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. So you can see what the contrast statistically is. Yeah. So anyway,
just full of teases.
Those are some. Yeah, man. We're hyped. We're hyped about today.
Here,
I got the Boxster, the original gangster.
Exactly.
Man, coming on, man.
Oh, geez.
On the block with Stricken Bach.
That's right.
He's back, baby.
So other than that, man, again, just always excited to be able to talk and chop it up. We had some good interaction yesterday with the text line. It was fun to engage with them. Bach, you know what? Bach lit up a little bit. So I'm going to give him a little bit more today. I'm going to give him some NBA stuff today as well.
His Celtics lost to my Knicks in preseason action.
Yeah, well,
That's all right. Preseason stuff.
We don't care about that.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely talk a little bit about, maybe about the 76ers and, what's down the road for the big fella there. And we'll get into a couple of other topics because Bach lit up like a freaking Christmas tree. When we got into some NBA talk yesterday,
we
dug in.
Big NBA guy. That's during the NBA season. Love talking to Bach. It's always a fun time. Speaking of the Sixers and James Harden, did you see the shoes that Nebraska ball is going to be wearing this year?
I did not.
They got themselves some Hardens.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Kind of a strange time of his career to get some Hardens.
Yeah.
I mean, what other
his stock hasn't been higher.
What are the other Adidas athletes that you would their signature shoe?
Well, I think there's an Adidas athlete that you wouldn't know that there was an Adidas athlete. It should be a quiz question if we had something to give away, but there was an Adidas athlete.
I mean, we could just give something away.
That is probably references one of the top 5 to 10 players of all time. And he wore Adidas shoes earlier in his career, had an Adidas brand of shoes, but ended up not being Adidas. There's a guy out there. Who is that guy? Sorry, text line's always open to you. 402-464-5685 if you know who that person is.
I thought I knew, and then you said like 5 to 10 all time, and I was like, that's not who I was thinking, because Donovan Mitchell is an Adidas athlete, but he's not 5 to 10 all time.
No, 5 to 10 all time. Who do you think, Bach?
Say it again. The parameters for it.
He's probably references probably one of the top 5 to 10 players of all time. He wore an Adidas shoe. He had an Adidas, signature shoes, but didn't end up being Adidas, which is crazy, right? Normally, most people, when you look at like the Allen Iversons, you look once they like agent number 8, which is Antoine Walker was a longtime Adidas guy, but
Kobe,
there it is. Kobe Bryant.
I forget. You
Kobe
forget about
Bryant
that.
was an Adidas guy initially, and he ended up switching over to Nike.
I'm like 5 to 10 all the time. I was like, Tim Duncan doesn't do anything.
Well, of course, the Rafter.
Yeah,
of course,
Chris Raff got it.
Rafter.
Of course, Raff gets it.
Always is on it. He's like a freaking encyclopedia.
Was that number 8? Was that Little Fro Kobe?
Little Fro Kobe. Well, no, he had Big Fro Kobe. He might even had different number Kobe.
Well, let me ask you this, Strick. For in the NBA, when you were playing, and maybe if it's different now, you get pretty a leeway on what you can wear?
There's a good question. So I was still playing in the CBA, and I found a shoe that I just absolutely loved. Like, I've worn different shoes. Like early in my Dallas career, I was a Nike guy. Then I shortly had Adidas, I think, and then I ended up being a Reebok guy for the rest of my career. But the Reebok that I wore in the before I got back to the league, and I actually still had them, so I bought multiple of them because I loved them so much, was the AI 3s. That was by far the best shoe that I felt I've ever played in my life, and I felt like I was him, that guy. Like everything I did, there's nothing you could do with me when I had those shoes on. I felt like light. I felt like I could fly. I felt like there's nobody getting past me.
It was like Mike, you put on the magical shoes.
Man, it was like that.
Now, here's another question. Did you ever play AI in those shoes, or did you play anybody in their signature shoes?
So when I became a Reebok guy, I'm like, is there any way that I could wear the A3s? They're like, oh, no, we can't give you those. So, no, I didn't get a chance. I couldn't wear them. They wouldn't let me wear them.
Have you heard the stories of players playing other players in their signature shoes?
Okay, there's a story out there that DeMar DeRozan has.
Yes.
Where DeMar basically was fresh in the league. He was wearing Kobe's, and he's going to play Kobe. And he basically says, I ain't
I
I
can't wear
ain't
these.
wearing these, man. Freaking Kobe. I'm gonna wear Jordans. And so so Kobe knows DeMar wears his shoes, and so he says, what you got on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And he goes and gives him buckets.
Lit him up.
And says, don't you ever wear those shoes again. Yeah, those are Kobe Bryant stories.
Those are good stories.
I don't think Kobe never talked ish to me. I had a Michael Jordan story. I've shared that, I think, before. Some people may have heard it. But this is just their mindset. You know, my aunt and my uncle was coaching at SMU, so we were gonna play the Bulls, and I was still a rookie at that time. And Deion Sanders had a club called Primetime 21. It was like hot. The club was hot. So we all went to the club. The Bulls were in the building. It was a hot night. Afterwards, my aunt says, "Hey, Eric, introduce me to Michael." I'm like, oh. I'm like, come on.
Don't do this to me.
Yeah, right?
Don't do this to me.
I mean, we got to play the cat tomorrow.
Don't put me in this spot.
So I'm like, all right. You know, I don't want to break her heart. So I go over and say, yo, MJ, how you doing, man? Straight. You know, I'm with the Mavs. Listen, my aunt would like to take a picture with you. Is that all right? He's like, oh, sure, no problem. So he comes with me. And she's like giddy and stuff. And so MJ says to her, make sure he goes home, takes the picture first. Make sure he goes home. He gets a lot of rest because it's going to be a long day for him tomorrow.
Set you up. Set you up.
Freaking MJ, bro.
You can't say no to your family, but at the same time, it's like, don't make me do this.
How'd the game go the next day?
But we've that game, I don't think we won.
I said, was it
that was my rookie year? Yeah, we didn't win. But what I will say though is my time and the abilities to be able to compete against him and also maybe some of his teammates, it was a beautiful thing. I think there's certain periods in parts of my career that I was blessed to have. That this is one of them. MJ he used to have these little events, golf tournaments that they would have, and then he would have the, back then we used to do these NBA celebrity games. Like the NBA players would come together and do these celebrity games with golf tournaments and stuff like that. You maybe, Emmitt Smith and guys, football guys. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. So MJ had one. It was in I think in the San Antonio. No. What's the college down there? Texas State. It was down at Texas State. And MJ, the roster comes out as far as who's going to be on whose team, so forth and so on. And MJ sees it and he says, nah, switch that. I want Strick on my team. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
That was a cool thing because just the recognition of the competitiveness, he could see that in me. Because MJ, I'm telling you, he doesn't want nobody on his team that's not gonna.
He's not gonna have a bum on his team.
Right? Not gonna compete. So that was cool. And then another one was a phenomenal. I would say this was one in my career that kind of helped me. It was synonymous with these two because it happened in the same game. But we're in the back tunnel. Well, during the game, Derek Harper says to me, "Effing Eric, you need to shoot the ball. We need you to score." Right? And I'm a young player, so I'm like, I'm just trying to fit in and get in where I fit in. But D Harper was like, "Man, no, we need you to freaking score. Shoot the ball." So I end up kind of going on a nice little roll, took that advice and did my thing. But it was afterwards when we're in the tunnel is when I had an opportunity to bump shoulders with Charles Barkley. And Charles Barkley, I don't think Charles knew this at the time, but we're both from Alabama. So I knew him when he was at Auburn.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew Charles and everybody knew Bo. So Bo Jackson. So he comes and says, "Yo, Strick, like what you're doing, young fella. Keep up that good work." Coming from a guy, those things just encourage you in your abilities to stay and to want to be the best that you can be in the league.
Did you try to do that to rookies too? Like bring them up at times?
Yeah. I mean, I think that happened when I was in Milwaukee, when I was with the Bucks, right? So I was a support role player at that time. It was towards the tail end of my career, but it was a young team. The elder statesman on the team was me and Tony Kukoc.
Oh yeah.
So Tony was the oldest, and it was me, and then I think the next on the team was maybe Marcus Pfizer, maybe.
Nice, yeah.
And he's younger than me significantly, right? So it was a young guys, Desmond Mason, Michael Redd, TJ Ford.
Ooh, Michael Redd.
Dan Gadzarich from UCLA. It was just a young core of guys, and then a few. Mo Williams was on that team as well.
Yeah.
Mo's been on the show.
Yeah.
So Mo Williams, and so they were a young group, and they labeled me as captain. So this is where the conflict came in between me and Terry Porter, because Terry Porter wanted to be the guy that they come to, but I'm the one that they gravitated to. You know what I mean? So I can't say, so in a way I was a mentor. There was plenty of time sitting down next to them, Strick, what you seeing, what you think, and that's the relationship Terry Porter with. But that's what kind of made him kind of upset with me. And I had to go sit down with him and have a conversation. Yo, TP, what's up, man? Like, just know that I'm for you. I support you. I'm with you. I'm not coming against you, nor am I setting in anybody or pitting anybody against you. I just want to win, bro. Is there something I did or something that I need to address? Tell me so I can make it better. I literally had to have a meeting with him about it, but he didn't really say nothing.
The problem is because you're a good person. How dare you? That's what it was.
Yeah.
How dare you be a good person?
Was TJ Ford that good that year? I remember it seemed like he had a few years where he's good and then just disappeared. I don't know if it's an injury or something.
Yeah, it was an injury.
Yeah.
Man. TJ,
he's really good at
TJ
Texas.
was really good, and he was good. I mean, he was good at the lead. I mean, he was drop dimes. Yeah. The jumper, he didn't have enough time to develop the jumper, but TJ was he was phenomenal. He could get to the basket, small in stature, but still was feisty, can had a Muggsy Bugs-ish type of mentality to him. But what happened was TJ went up for a shot, kind of got undercut, and he lands on his back. That's when he then has to go in and get this MRI, and he finds out he has a degenerative spine. So he had to wear this neck thing for a while, tried to come back, just wasn't really able to do it. And so that's pretty much what ended his career.
Yeah.
Well, that's a kind of a negative note.
Sorry, I just remembered TJ Ford. He brought him up. It's like, what happened to him? Because he was really good for a minute.
Yeah, that kind of just sublimed his career.
It happens, but at least he had a little bit of a career in the NBA. Yeah. But you kind of already went through what's gonna come up on the block. So I'm excited to listen to you guys. Old school on the block, Stricken Bach.
We got to get that Nick.
I need a neck brace. That's what I need. I don't have anything like that, but I need something. Like I said, I'm gonna finish up work here. I'm gonna go home. I have some Tiger Balm waiting for me, calling my name. Some more ibuprofen.
You need to go to the Walgreens and get one of those things that go.
Maybe. It's something.
Put it on the neck, bro.
I am not in a good spot right now. So that's gonna do it for the happy hour. Thank you guys for listening. On the Block with Stricken Bach coming up next on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Adios. It's a bye weekend for Nebraska football, so roll out the barrel at Beer House this Saturday for Oktoberfest. Doors open at 11 a.m. with a ceremonial keg tapping at noon. Oktoberfest is a family-friendly celebration with live music, games, German foods, and German beers. There's a Stein holding contest at 2 and 6 p.m., other games throughout the day, and all the German sausages and pretzels you can fit in your lederhosen. Tickets are $5 in advance or $10 at the door. Purchase yours ahead of time at LincolnOktoberfest.com. This Saturday at Beer House in the Haymarket.
Okay, old buddy, I took you through the car wash and drove you out to your favorite dirt road.